Okay, we are live on
Live on
Facebook.
Facebook.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I made
Hello.
it. I made it too. Hi, Carol. I'm so excited to see
Hi.
you
How you
speak
doing?
today. I am
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes,
You?
I'm excited.
I'm so excited for you to share your knowledge. Congratulations for iconing.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
It feels like a big goal that seemed really lofty in the beginning, and you helped me believe I could achieve it. And so, yeah, it's just really exciting to me to have gotten that far. And I just kind of like put my head down and was working and helping people, and it happened. So
That's so awesome. So how far did you get? Like, did you get a chance to like introduce yourself and tell people who you are and how you got to us?
No, we were
Not
just
yet.
starting.
No, we were just kind of getting.
Okay, so let's start with that. So who is Carol?
Okay, and so
tell everyone here.
Okay. Hi, you guys. My name is Carol Perry, and I am in Michigan, Florida. So you can see the Michigan Florida connection. Was a broker in Michigan for, well, I've been there since 2004. Was with KW, was on the ALC and stuff like that. I was a pretty high producer. And then I'd always wanted to move to Florida. Finally got down here and really had to completely reinvent the wheel. So started over from scratch, getting my license, but I kept working in Michigan the whole time. And it's been an interesting journey for sure, working in both states. And, but when I had a brokerage I ended up opening a small brokerage in Michigan and one in Florida. And then Gogo, just her messages resonated with me on the way she tackled business and so forth. And just, she was the reason I came over to EXP, because I actually heard the message from her, and just the opportunities and doing business in a new fashion, because I always kind of felt like a fish out of water, but with, technology and trying to reach forward and do real estate differently. But EXP was so far ahead of the curve with all of that. And it's been great because I'm in 2 states, but I only pay one cap, one fee to EXP. So it's really, really been a blessing to me, because I had 2 sets of overhead. Plus, my marketing was so different from both brokerages, and now my message is unified. I'm bringing you sunshine, whether that's a vacation home in Michigan or in Florida. Recreation is just a big part of, like, I feel like you should vacation where you live, no matter where that's at. Like, your backyard is a big deal to me. And I just really feel like EXP helped me unify all that and kind of bring my message together. That's a little. Oh, I can't hear you, Gogo. Can you guys hear Gogo?
So what do you think? Sorry, I was muted. So what do you think you did different? I mean, I can hear a lot of things that you did different, but what do you think was the major thing that pushed you over from going from top producer to icon agent?
Okay. What you really made me think about this, because Gogo knows that I'm not a numbers girl. What I literally do is I just help people. It's basically, that's all I've done all my life. I've just helped people, and really for a long time it never paid off. And so it's so exciting that it's kind of, seeing the fruit of that. And what really resonated with me.
Well, if I may stop you there for a second.
Yeah.
I never heard it put better than Tony Robbins says it. He says, people just say, I want to make money. So if you don't give your goal an actual goal, something that you can say, I want this amount by this time. If you just say, I want to make money, then you're going to make $1, because $1 is money. So you have to be, that's when you said, like, I'm not numbers oriented, but in the same time, in order to icon, you had to know your numbers, correct? You were like, oh my gosh, I'm $600 away. Oh my gosh, I'm $400 away. Oh my gosh, I'm $200 away. Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to icon with this last transaction. So you have to know your numbers, because if you don't, you cannot reach your goal. Right. So it's like being on not a trampoline, what is it called? A treadmill. Or you're running. Oh, you're definitely running, but you're going nowhere. So you have to put your goal. So you have to say, I want to icon. This is my anniversary day. This is how I'm going to get it done. How many transactions does it take for me to cap? And then I have to do 20 more transactions. Okay, I have 11 months left. How many transactions is that a month? What's my average price range that I must hit in order to reach those transactions? So this time, were you or were you not a little bit more numbers oriented?
Yes, I did. You made me do that. So thank you very much. So I hit 10 million in sales. And what I did too was I went through and I looked at my lead sources to see where all of it was coming from. And that's why I thought that I might be able to help other people, is because whatever your lead source is, like Opcity, okay, that was a free resource through EXP. And so I just took it and I was like, okay, I'm just going to run with this, because something of something is better than nothing of nothing. And I don't have the sphere in Florida that I had in Michigan. And so what I did was, let me get down to, I looked at my numbers. You'll be so proud of me, Gogo.
Oh my gosh,
Here's
I love this, Carol.
Yes. So you can see this big green bar right here. That's Opcity. It was 49% of my volume and about 42% of my commission amounts. Okay.
Wow.
And that to me was a huge, because in Michigan, you can see I rely on this. My sphere is a significant chunk. And what resonated with me is, even though I'm in Florida, people use me in Michigan. And you know why? It's because they trust me. They know that I'm going to be on it. They know that I'm not going to let anything slip. And that's what I wanted to go back through. This is what I've always felt. Be the one. My highest priority is to be the agent that I want as a buyer and seller. So just every time I work with someone, that's my aim, is to be the agent that I would want handling my transaction. I want them to answer my call. This is your phone, your computer, and your iPad. These are all, I call these money makers. Like that is, I just, if I tell someone I'm going to call them back, I call them back. If I'm in a meeting, I'll be like, hey, can I call you in 20? I'll text them, because I don't want to be rude to the person that I'm with. So I just kind of, make sure that they know that a reasonable explanation of when I will get back to them. And I just feel like the Opcity leads, or it could be Opcity, or it could be Zillow, it could be any type of networking. It doesn't matter what type of lead funnel you have, whether it's KV Core and you use the Facebook ads. I just chose to just go for this one. And as you can see over here, I'm sixth in our area with 4.5 million. And I have another one that just closed yesterday that's not on there yet. I'm kind of hoping to bump up here in the leaderboard. And then over here, I have a rating of 116 out of 120. What that rating comes from is, I've heard new agents go, oh, well, I set my Opcity at, 300,000 or more and things like that. But it's like, you know what? Just open it up in the beginning. If you want some more leads, there might be some junky leads, but I've had things come from really low, very low dollar sales. Like, if you believe it or not, I did a $28,000 sale this year. Okay. I probably netted about $200 after I paid my helpers and everything, but I didn't care because I helped them. And then I did a $2.5 million closing. So, you have
to kind of, the way Opcity works, guys, is you have to earn your position. So Opcity looks at it this way: if you're not willing to take the low leads, they're not going to give you the big leads. So you actually have to take a couple of punches, and then eventually they're going to give you the $1 million leads, because at that point you deserve it, and they know your rate that you can actually close that client. So yes, take those leads at first. And also, the way I look at it, if you're not working on anything else, would that $200 worth your time? Absolutely not. But if that $200 you're putting in your time now for a future $30,000 commission, I will put my time in for, that's just how life works.
Yes. And you're spot on. You're spot on with, you have to kind of, it's just like, say if you referred an agent, a client, if it wasn't maybe the best client that you had, but they took great care of them, you're going to give them your good clients. And then the same thing happens in reverse. If they don't take them, if you see that they always snooze, they don't claim the leads, they, it's not, I don't think that they're going to get the best leads. And there is, you can't see it on here, but I've worked my way up to be considered, it's either experience, I think it says experienced on mine. And so it does, it takes a little while to kind of build up, but even if this isn't your lead funnel, regardless of what your lead funnel is, like, I don't know, everything, people work in different ways, but I don't just put someone on a flash and just bombard them with emails. Like, I do a lot of manual searches, and I'll try to reach out to them with specific properties to make sure, and make sure that I'm still on track. Because if someone's not really responding to you, just to ask them, say, hey, are you okay? I just want to make sure that I was getting you the right type of listings, because maybe your needs changed, or, just call them to say hello and things like that. So that's really what I felt.
I have a quick question for you. So because you are so busy, so how many transactions did you do to Icon altogether?
45.
I know 10 million, but oh gosh, so that's
45.
So divided by 12, you're doing 4 transactions a month. That's a lot of transactions, which means that you are very busy. So the question I have for you, this particular lead source, absolutely, you have to be really quick to claim the lead. So what's your trick? Do you have a certain trick of how you can claim the lead so fast when you are busy?
Okay, it's not easy. I do have my my helper, Jenna, she's on my team, and she claims them sometimes too. Like, if I'm busy, she'll claim them for me because she has the Opcity app on her thing, but I have to answer the phone. So she doesn't, if I'm somewhere where I cannot answer the phone, she will not claim them. But I primarily just claim them. I mean, I'm just like, when that alarm goes off, I hit it. Okay, I don't.
That's a good idea.
See.
So let me get this straight. When you download the app, the Opcity app, how do we log in? What credentials do we log in? Our email, EXP email?
Yes. Mm-hmm. You have to ask your broker.
Okay.
You have to ask your broker to be set up on Opcity.
Yeah, but then after you are set up and you have access, now you can get a secondary phone and you can put your assistant on it. So they get notified. So if you're out in the field and busy, they can literally just push the button for you. That's a great idea. Also, I had somebody tell me that what they do is they literally change the ringtone of Opcity. So it rings different than any other text message. So then that's an Opcity lead I have to drop. So you could make yours sound like, I don't know, a duck, or you can make it sound like a train or something that's totally different than all of your other ringtones. So, when you hear that sound, jump, because that's an Opcity lead.
This is what it sounds like. Oh, I must have it on. I have it on silent, but it does have a specific ring to it. And I literally get chills every time that goes on. And
you're like,
I hit it immediately. I think a lot of people read them. I think that's where they go wrong.
I don't read it anymore. I used to read it, and by the time I read it, where it said and how much, it was already claimed. So I was like, never mind. I know how to play this game. Okay. So I literally now, as soon as it beeps, I just push the button.
And sometimes if it might say that they're looking for a home somewhere, and it's not always where they're looking. So, you still have a lot of qualifying to do after you get the lead. And then also, right away, when I get the lead, immediately I have an instant text that goes out to them, and it tells them that they are going to be receiving an email from me, just to help me get more details on what they want. And then I send out through KB Core another email to them. And we just literally
So let me ask you this. How does your Opcity lead get an automated email? Do they get it through KB Core? So do you feed your Opcity lead over to KB Core, or how do you do that?
In your preferences, let me see. It automatically has an email, a text that it sends to them. Like right when you hang up, it sends this text to them, and it's kind of like a generic one, but you can go in there and change it. So
got it. Okay. And then do you then feed them over? Do you then feed them over to your KB Core?
Yep. We've just started doing that. Just started putting them in my KB Core. And I have a video that I really hate. It's like a 1, 2, 3, like the first steps. But you know what? I've learned from you, you just do it. You do it, and then you perfect it. So that's what
Awesome. So
I'm
this is a
doing.
video that you send to your clients that they got automatically.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yes.
Can we watch
Yep.
that? Do you have that video handy? You can share with us so we can see it very quick.
Oh, I wouldn't want to show it to you, you guys. It's really bad.
It's
But-
okay. It's clearly working. Hey, if you can icon with a bad video, I'm all about watching that bad video. Let us be the judge of that. You icon. Okay.
Oh.
I'm sure it's a great video.
Okay. I wish I would have had it set up. Do you want me to maybe add it to the Facebook thing later? So we don't waste your time? Or
Yeah,
I remember
yeah, that's fine.
okay, I'll put it in the links below the Facebook thing. Yeah, because it's now you're really making me wish that I had redone it already. But and the other really honestly, the other thing is I do think part of my success is honestly just being real. I feel like I'm a very accessible person because a lot of agents, they think that they might, have to have this perfect presentation and everything like that. And I'm not that person. I'm very real. Like that's what I feel like is my connection. And each one of us has our own style. And I think that if you're just really you, like all the way to the core, like I'm tropical all the way to the core, and I'm very personable and accessible to people, and I'm kind of a casual person, and I feel like that resonates with people. They just feel like I feel like I can earn their trust because.
But not only that, but
genuinely
when you
care.
put yourself out there, and you allow people to get to know you, you will find the people who are just like you. And that's the best part because they love you before they even have the need to have to work with you. You know what I mean? So this is why I don't ever have to work with an asshole, excuse my French again, for a commission. Is because now I get to pick and choose because I allow them to get to know me, see inside of my world, and get to know you, see inside to your world. So they want to work with you because you are just like them. But the only way they can know that if you allow them in. So that's huge. Like having a non-perfect video is kind of the best way of allowing them. Like, hey, I'm a human. I'm out there hustling. This video is just, 3 seconds long because this is all the time I got. Let me tell you, what is this going to look like? And that's why most of the time people are like, oh my gosh, she's so cute, so real. Like instead of being a perfect video with videographers and this and that, like there's no need for that. There's no need for that.
Exactly. No, I think that you've really, you've taught all of us that when you had your tooth, that was the funniest thing. That was the most memorable out of all of your perfect videos. Like that's the one that people remember, right? I bet you've gotten people felt like that was real.
Probably thousands of messages from people. And I probably got most of my followers like in a short period of time from those videos when I lost my tooth and I talked about that. Because people are like, oh my gosh, I had the same thing. I haven't left my house for 8 months. I can't believe that you're going through that and you're putting yourself out there. It elaborates? No, it's elaborate. What does it mean? Like liberates people.
Liberates,
and it gives it gives you the freedom to be you no matter what life throws at you. So if you're in a situation right now, like, hey, I'm hustling, I'm selling the next house, but I would love the opportunity to be a realtor. That's your truth. But in the same sentence, I'm out here hustling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's why I don't have time to create the most perfect video because I'm out here hustling. So this is all I got. I got 3 minutes to tell you what it's going to be like to work with me. And in a weird way, in an unconscious way, that is your best way we can possibly tell someone how busy you are without telling someone how busy you are. Make sense?
And another thing too is just like, oh, what's that?
We have a question for you. So
okay.
Nikki is asking, do you have to accept the call right away or can you decline it and send the text out?
If you decline it, it's gone.
Okay.
So you have that option.
That she ended up releasing my first 4 leads because they weren't ready to get pre-approvals and weren't getting back to me. Now I don't get any leads from Oak City anymore. Okay.
What I would suggest is maybe calling them and letting them know that, hey, you do want to work with people, that you're very engaged, that you want to, get leads and things like that. And what I would do going forward is I have a lot of people that I nurture that they're not pre-approved at the time, but I still nurture them because if someone's raised their hand, I have learned, even if it's a year out or 2 years out, they're going to buy at some point. and you want them to use you. So all you do is just, it's not going to take like a ton of your time or energy to just nurture that person through the process. And you know what? Get them with a lender that does help people build their credit. Like, hey, so-and-so is probably a year out, but they'd like to know what to do in order to buy in a year. And just nurture them. Don't discard them, because I feel like that's what a lot of people do.
And also the updates. If you don't update your Opcity app, letting them know, hey, I talked to them yesterday, you know, they're about 6 months out. I sent them to my lender. They're working on their credit score. I'll check in 3 months. If you don't update your Opcity leads on time, they're just not going to give you any more leads because they think that you're not working them. So you have to be on it. You have to update Opcity, and you have to take all the leads up front. You have to take some hits. You know, that's not really going to worth your time, as Carol said, but eventually you get the $2.5 million Opcity leads. But make sure you update.
Because you can spend the time with your A buyers, but there's still those people that you'll be surprised. I mean, all of a sudden they'll come through for you if you've kept them on the line, you know, and just show them that you're interested. Like, hey, they want to buy a house. It might not be ready yet, but just, I would definitely, and then you never know if they're going to refer you. Also, another thing too, you might think, well,
that's exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah, Opcity takes like 30%, right? But you know what? Not of their aunt or their uncle, and they're going to buy from you too because you did such a great job with them. So I've already starting to get like what would you call that, kind of, you know, extended referrals from treating those people right, and then that brings you more business. So and again, it's not all about Opcity, it's any lead funnel. I did the same thing with Zillow. I like last year, I really don't like Zillow, honestly, but because just it's but last year, like before I was with EXP, you know, I got a $7 million lead. Like I probably wouldn't have gotten that. That's not my sphere. But and they were honestly nervous to use me at first because, you know, I was just like this independent agent, and but I just showed them my value. You know, I just stayed on and kept bringing them value, bringing them, you know, all kinds of information about the area and stuff like that. So really, it's just, don't ever undersell yourself. You can do it. I mean, you just have to bring the value to them. Just like, what would you want an agent to do if you were looking, especially if it's someplace new, you'd want them to kind of show you the area too. You know, what are the best restaurants around, you know, things to do, stuff like that.
That's exactly what I wanted to say, is usually those ones that have a hard time getting pre-approved or a hard time, you know, getting through the whole purchasing process, like right now with the FHA offers and things like that. Those are the ones that end up referring. Those are going to be your happiest clients because we finally got them into a house and nobody else could get them into a house. And you worked with them for a year and a half and they're not even paying you on the buy side. They're going to get paid from the seller. So they feel forever grateful. And those are your best referrals. Like actually in the past, some of my best referrals came from rentals. Yeah. Because they had to rent because their credit score was bad. They couldn't afford to buy. But they were so thankful when rentals were flying off the market, when the short sales were happening. Like I'm talking way back, short sales were happening. So everybody was renting at the time. It was impossible to find rentals. And when I got someone into a rental, they were like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. And they would refer everybody and their mother. I just, like you said, I made $200 on it if I don't count.
Exactly. Like those were small dollar, but they led, like, what did they lead to? And that's what another thing I was looking at. Let me see if I can find the slide on the lead. Okay, right here where it says listing niche. Also, maybe find a certain niche. Like I found a niche it's actually in Hobestown. It's in Martin County. This manufactured home community that they're all on their own land, which is unusual because usually it's a leased lot. But me with my real estate background, like I can see the value in that. These people own the land and it's right by the beach, and these places are cheap, right? They're like 100 to 200,000. And I had one listing in there. It was $130,000 listing. Okay, and I want to show you all of this came from that. I think it ended up being around just in this past year. Oh boy, it was like maybe did 10 closings just from that one listing. So one little $130,000 listing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was like $30,000. This was about 60 right here, the screen mark. Okay. And then in Michigan, this was like 20. Now, I also want to say another thing is collaboration. And that's one thing that EXP is phenomenal about. I've been in other companies that have never had so much collaboration with other agents willing to share and do referrals and all of that back and forth. And hey, maybe we split this one. Like one of my teammates will just split it right down the middle and we'll do like half of the work. Those kind of things, if you're kind of greedy and you just want to hang on to the whole commission, you might not be able to service, as many people and grow your business. I feel like the sharing definitely has helped me, just grow that much more. I wouldn't have been able to do that much business.
That's amazing. So let's open it up for questions. Or Kira, do you have anything else in your presentation that you want to talk about, or can we open it up for questions?
That was mainly it, the basics.
I'm personally so proud of you to see a whole presentation and slideshows and your numbers. I mean, this is like the most exciting thing ever.
I know, because usually like with a listing, I just go in, I'm ready to sell it. I don't do some fancy presentation. I just go in and I'm like, okay, we're listing this. Let's get it sold. And it works. But everybody's got their own style.
Yeah, but it's exciting though. In order to grow, you have to. So I joined a group called M1, and it's a multi-millionaire group. It takes millionaires to become multi-millionaires. And in there, they talk about that if you don't track where your money's coming from, eventually, you won't know where it went. Mm-hmm. And I always been so busy making money. Could you stop sharing so we can see everybody on the screen?
Oh yeah, yes.
Thank you. So I was always so busy making money, then I never tracked where my leads are coming from. I never tracked where my money's going. I was always like, I have all this commission coming in. I have all this commission coming in. Like, what does it matter? You know what I mean? But it does matter, because when I finally sat down and I figured out, number one, where are my leads coming from? Because then you need to know where you're spending your marketing dollars. Why am I farming an area if I've never freaking got a lead from it? Like, how long will it gonna take you to realize, hold on a minute, because the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So if you don't stop to see what you're doing, to track what you're doing and where you're spending your time and where you're spending your money, you can't possibly track it. And if you don't track it, you can't grow it. Mm-hmm. So that's why we all have to slow down and have that end goal, and then look back and break it down, what we call the reverse engineering of how you're going to get there. But in the meantime, you have to track your money.
Yeah. No, I'm really glad that this actually forced me to do that, to, put the number. I knew the concept, the big picture, but I didn't know the numbers. And so I'm going to be better at that going forward. And this kind of forced me to put that together. So I thank you for that.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. So now you'll have $16,000 worth of EXP stocks that's going to be sitting in your retirement account.
Can you guys, that's life-changing stuff, right? Come on.
That's life-changing. It's life-changing. I mean, when I look at Yasmin's, because we hang out all the time, so I see her numbers all the time, more often than everybody else's. And it just blows my mind that she's been with us this is her second year. June 1st was her second year anniversary. She's third year in real estate altogether. She haven't even received her second year Icon Award yet. And she already has over $200,000, almost $300,000 in her retirement account from stocks alone. And she hasn't even gotten her second year award yet. Show me one other real estate company. One. Right. Show me one other real estate company that will give you anything, but let alone $250,000 in 2 years. Right. Just because you're doing your job. That you would have done else.
Beth has a question.
Yes. Hi, Carol. Thanks so much for coming on and sharing today.
Hi.
Hi. I'm in Utah. I really think there's a couple. I mean, I'm not married to a realtor, nor am I interested in getting a license in another state, but I could see how that would be a big value to people in kind of money saving, value there. I'm curious to know, like, was that a big decision in your, a big factor in your decision making, or how can we, when we're attracting agents, kind of capitalize? Is there some catch things that we can say about that, or?
Yes, I honestly wouldn't recommend multi-state unless you are, you know, are in that state quite a bit. Like I visit Michigan on a regular basis, you know what I mean? Because things change so fast. You want to keep, I watch the markets every day, but as far as actually putting my feet on the ground with COVID, that was backed up a little bit. But to get your feet on the ground, it's, I don't know. I don't think I could just sell in California without, you know what I mean? Because I'm not. Does that make sense? So I would not recommend doing multi-states unless you're actually going to be in both of them. But as far as the selling points, it was a big selling point to me to not, okay, say if I was with a big box company, I would have 2 sets of overhead and 2 caps if that's the way they, if the companies run that way. So, for example, with, I don't want to use names, but if I was with a certain company that had a cap in Michigan, I would also have that cap in Florida. And then I would also have the office fee here and there. So you'll have 2 MLSs, but you'll only have 1 as far as like the company.
Okay. And so I come from the same place you left. I did the same.
You're from Michigan? Or
no, I meant the big box company name.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
2 initials.
Okay. Yes.
And so do most of those nationally recognized have that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
That's
huge.
As far as I know, they do. Yes. So anybody that you know that is working in 2 states, that could be definitely something that would help them.
Okay. Perfect.
And think of it this way: what if they're husband and wife?
Yes.
And they work in 2 states.
I know.
So now it's unbelievable for them because the 2 of them together are waged, and then they have multiple state licenses and still only have 1 cap and 1 cut.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a huge saving.
It is. Now in KV Core,
so absolutely, if you look at
market added.
Yeah, and for that you would have to pay for a secondary KV Core.
Right.
So what that means is, let's say that Carol is doing marketing through KV Core in Michigan, and she's also doing marketing through KV Core in Florida. It's the same site, but in order to have access, correct? Is this the same site, Carol?
It's the same site, but to add the other MLS
on the same site.
I think it's the same site.
You'll have to pay the secondary $35. Yeah, you just have to add the secondary $35 or pay for the secondary $35 a month.
That makes sense.
So that's the only difference.
Thank you so much, guys. That's great.
Yeah.
I think you actually get 2 different websites, but they both feed to the same KV Core. At least when I set up Max's, he's in Michigan and in Florida. He has 2 different websites from KV Core, but they both feed into the exact same KV Core. You can access it from the same KV Core, but it'll just say, do you want to, what site are you managing right now when you're updating the website, Michigan or Florida?
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, no, I don't have my Michigan hooked up to it yet, so I'll have to talk to Max about that.
Yeah, you have to pay an additional fee to do that if you want it separate.
Okay.
Well, do we have any other questions?
Not on the chat box. We covered it all.
Sounds fantastic. Well, Carol, thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited to see your numbers.
Thank you. Thank you for making me do that. You push us all along, and I'm really blessed to be with all of you guys, because everybody here is like kind of a go-getter and creative and entrepreneurial, and I really love working with all of you guys.
Me too.
Thank you,
it's my absolute pleasure. Let's do it again. Let's icon next year and the year after and the year after and the year after. So you always get your money back.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you everyone for showing up today.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Carol.
Bye-bye.
Bye.